the two families joining together to become stronger as a unit. That's what it was.
Exactly right. A person who is rich, a king, whatever, they would have mistresses. Those they loved. But the average person, not so much. All right, let's move on. Let me just read. I just love this. I'm going to read it one more time. 4. But you shall not eat flesh which with its life, that is, its blood. And for your life's blood I will require a reckoning. From every beast I will require it, and from man. From his fellow man I will require a reckoning for the life of man. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed. For God made man in his own image. And you, be faithful and multiply.
Fruitful.
I'm sorry?
And you, be fruitful.
I thought I said that.
And multiply. No, it sounded like faithful.
Oh, all right. Well, we can throw that in there too. And you, be fruitful and multiply. Tend on the earth and multiply in it. Then God said to Noah and to his sons with him, Behold, I establish my covenant with you and your offspring, after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the birds and the livestock, and every beast of the earth with you, as many as came out of the ark. It is for every beast for the earth. Establish my covenant with you, that never again shall all flesh be cut off by the waters of the flood. And never again shall there be a flood to destroy the earth. And God said, This is the sign of the covenant. This is the sign of the covenant that I made between me and you and every living creature that is with you for all further future generations. I have set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. What is that bow, Christina?
That is that beautiful rainbow he puts up there.
Yes, absolutely.
And that is a bow of love and trust.
Right.
And never to forget who God is. So I love when they raise that rainbow flag, they're raising God's love.
That's very true. And by the way, there's a scientific relationship to this, is that as things progressed and changed on the earth, that obviously did appear. So there's two ways to look
But
at
it still appears after the rain.
it. It does, yes. Sometimes.
And God's
Right.
reminding us,
Right.
I'm not going to destroy you.
Exactly.
Not with water.
Right. Thank you very much. That's very comforting. I have set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. When I bring clouds over the earth, and the bow is seen in the clouds, I will remember my covenant that is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh. And the waters shall never again become a flood to destroy all flesh. When the bow is in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is on the earth. God said to Noah, This is the sign of the covenant that I have established between me and all flesh that is on the earth. The sons of Noah who went forth from the ark were Shem, Ham, Japheth, Ham was his father of Canaan. These three were the sons of Noah, and from these the people of the whole earth were dispersed. Noah began to be a man of the soil, and he planted a vineyard. He drank of the wine and became drunk, and lay uncovered in the tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father, and told his two brothers outside. Then Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it on both their shoulders, and walked covered the nakedness of their father. Their face were turned backwards, and they did not see their father's nakedness. When Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his youngest sons had done to him, he said, "Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be to his brothers." He also said, "Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant. May God enlarge Japheth, and let him dwell in the tents of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant." After the flood, Noah lived 350 years. All the days of Noah were 950, and he died.
Now, why did he curse Canaan?
That's a very, very good question. And you know what, Christina? Being the astute Bible scholar and thinker I am, I don't have an answer.
All because they covered him.
They did a decent thing.
But you have to remember, maybe in his eyes, he went back to the Adam and Eve way of thinking.
Yes.
And the purity of it all, and not the, oh my gosh, you're naked attitude that we all share.
Right.
And maybe that upset him because he was trying to get back to before the curse and trying to become one with God again, and they disrupted that from him.
Well,
I don't know.
I'm going to take half of what you said and apply it. I think he was upset because, well, obviously because they covered him, they knew that he had drank too much and fell asleep naked. So it was like, you know, how do I put this? There are times that somebody will help us, but we get mad because they know. I don't know. That's the only thing I ever came up with. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does, because thinking of my mom when she overdosed and she got help, had her stomach pumped so she didn't die.
Yeah.
Yeah, it turned her into someone a little bit more bitter and angry. So obviously, maybe he was hoping that he died, or just leave me alone attitude. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what to do and how to do it. And the shock that you're still on the planet. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what goes on in the brains of people like that. All I get to do is watch people from afar. And yeah, I covered up my mom multiple times, and she got angry because other people saw her laying there. She wasn't completely butt naked, but you can see through her clothing, and I didn't want her to be exposed like that. And that was something she wanted and felt was okay, and I kept covering her up. So, I mean, I understand a little bit of it, but I only understand it from my side. I don't understand it from her side.
Well, yes, I think you are right, and the only answer I can come up with is that he's like your mom. I mean, I don't know your mom, but I'm just saying, you know, because they both did something basically, we'll say, quote, wrong, unquote. They got upset that somebody else knew. I don't remember, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
We really don't.
Because they love being exposed like that, and that to them was not shameful.
Right. So they wanted the best of both worlds. They wanted to be like you just said, and yet they were upset that somebody else knew.
Yeah, but can you imagine had the kids not have covered him up and they would have taken off their clothes and become more natural?
Yes.
The world may not have been in the shape that's in today too. And there's so many different opportunities that were passed up and not fleshed out. It just, we could have been all different multiple times.
It's true.
And I think that's what the Bible does, is show us that God's always restarting us, trying to tell us this is what I do for you. Remember me, because I'm always remembering you. So every time you see that rainbow, regardless of what shape it's in, it could be someone's little flag, remember that rainbow is love, is peace, is respect. It's not, I'm going to take you out. It's, I love you, and I'm not going to destroy you. That's what that rainbow represents. A connection between us and God saying, I'm not going to destroy you. I'm going to allow you to do what you're going to do. So, there's our rainbow.
Okay, very good. Very good. Chapter 10. Oh, by the way, one just quick thing. We know this from people who study these things and go around the world, etc. Tribes or civilizations that basically go around, we'll say, not completely naked, but much more naked than we do on a natural basis. It's not a big thing. It doesn't become a woo. You know,
It's not until we try to cover them up.
Exactly.
And that's when the big deal comes in. Because when we first interacted with the natives, they were practically naked. It wasn't until we, as quote unquote civilized people, said something. So again, a lot of people, there's a lot of people who run around naked today. There's a lot of nudity camps and all this other stuff.